Hi everyone, I'm Enrique Sengiomva, a Cuba student. In this research, it's all about the effect of non-financial and financial incentives on employees and business companies' productivity. The case study of Kichukiro Gahanga at Mobisol Company. The research paper submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirement for the BA research module completion. So the major of focus is Bachelor of Art in Management with concentration in logistics and operation. Let me talk about the outline. On the outline, I'll be talking about the motivation, the problem statement, hypotheses and objectives, population sample size and sampling strategy, presentation of the key findings, problems identified and practical solutions, contribution of the skills required to the research process, the research conclusion and recommendation. By the motivation, as we know that motivation research is a term that refers to a set of qualitative research approaches aimed at probing a consumer's brain in order to uncover the subconscious or latent motivation and goals that underpin ordinary consumption and purchase habits. By doing this research process, I was really motivated to know the research and the real impact or the impact of incentives on employees' productivity on companies, and finding out how the incentives affect employees' productivity positively or negatively in most businesses or companies. So the primary goals of the research are to guide actions, acquire evidence for hypotheses, and contribute to the advancement of knowledge in a particular field. I was really motivated by doing this research. This is because it helped me to learn some new things, and also helped me to find out the importance of incentives on employees' productivities as well. So let me talk about the problem statement. As we know that the employees' input and output in the workplace have been challenged by incentives. Employees' productivity could be negatively affected as a result of this: poor turnover, poor product quality, improvement, work discontent, low commitment, low turnover, intentions to stay with the organization, and poor staff productivity that affect input and output are all examples of negative qualities. So according to Armstrong and Taylor, employees' productivity is defined as the conduct that achieves these goals. Incentives are defined by Milton as varying reward given in a response to variation in the achievement of certain goals. So companies spend a lot of money on incentives programs that are designed to motivate and also commit and attract new personnel. Incentives install passions in employees, resulting in increased output. So nobody acts without a reason, which is norm occurrence. Let me talk about the hypothesis and also some objectives. As we know that the hypothesis here, the following is the theory that will guide the research. Incentives play a role in influencing employees' productivity in the workplace. Let me talk about the general objectives. The overall objective of this study of research is to know the real impact or the importance of incentives on employees' productivity on company, and finding out how the incentives affect employees' productivity positively or negatively in most businesses. The specific objectives, the main goals that lead the productivity incentives for employees are as follow: to find out how incentives affect employees' productivity in the workplace, and also to investigate the relationship between incentives and employees' productivity in Rwanda businesses. Let me talk about the population, sample size, and also the sampling strategy. Population. The target population of this study comprised all staff members of this Mobisol company. All categories of staffs, upper, middle, and lower cadres were included in this study. Sample size and sampling techniques. Let me talk about the sample size. As you know that the researchers used the Taro Yaman, a sample size of 50 to 75 observation insufficient to reflect a given study populations, and also to achieve a sample size of 52 employees for this study. As a result, the sample size for the analysis is sufficient, falling between 50 to 75 observations. As a result of the above estimate, the study's sample size is 52 workers. So about the sampling technique, In this analysis, the proportion, stratum, allocation, technical, and basic random sampling techniques were used. The proportion stratum allocation techniques was used because the research population was heterogeneous and it provided a representative sample, while the 51 a sample random technique was used because the population had a finite number of items, was mutually exclusive, and each certain population was homogeneous. So let me talk about the presentation of the key findings. As we know that the study used a standardized questionnaire with closed-ended question to collect primary data. The data for the analysis was collected using a 5-point Likert scale questionnaire. There were two parts of the questionnaires. The first segment focused on the respondent demographic characteristics such as gender, age, academic and technical, residential, job status, and duration of the service and jobs are only a few of the factors to consider. So the second section was broken up into three parts. The first part of the study looked into whether deposit money bank in Katsina states attract workers through performance incentives. Part 2 looked at the impact of performance incentives on employees' efficiency in deposit money bank in Katsina states, and also while Part 3 looked at the impact of financial performance incentives on employees' efficiency in Katsina state. Let me talk about also, it's all about the presentation of the key findings. The first session of the questionnaire had 8 elements, while the second session had 24 paragraphs that measured the independent and dependent variables. The performance bonuses adopted by deposit money banks of Katsina State to attract employees were calculated in graphs 1 up to 12. Financial impact was assessed in paragraphs 13 and 18. So employees' productivity bonuses in deposit money bank in the Dustin of the Republic of Congo, the impact of non-financial performance reward on Katsina State was calculated in paragraphs. About the mechanics to assure the quality of the data, as the validity, the degree to which a school tests what it claims to measure is referred to as its validity. Unfortunately, there is no single criteria for determining the validity of score, though the validation of the score entails the gathering of empirical data on its applications on the verification of the score by a group of experts in the field. So to confirm the instrument called to the research, emailed the questionnaires to management professional from Osman Danfodio University. So let me talk about the presentation of the key findings. As you can see, there is a graph, there is a chart. As you see, 20 people talked about the commissions in this company of Mobisol. 13 people talked about the fair treatment, and also 12 people talked about the free development trainings, and also 7 people talked about the paid vacation. So by doing the analysis of the interpretation data, based on the findings about the identification of different incentives provided at Mobisol through my sample size of 52 people, the number of 20 respondents on incentive at Mobisol company talked about the commission. Other 13 people respondents talked about the fair treatment. Other 12 respondents talked about the free development trainings, and finally other remaining 7 talked about the paid vacation. So this means that the incentives that are given at Mobisol company are commission, fair treatment, free development, and paid vacation. For the second one, there is also the chart, or is also presented in percentages. As you can see, there is a 38%, there is also 25%, 23%, and also 14%. So based on the findings about the assessment on the impact of incentives to employees satisfaction at Mobisol company, I've realized that some of the 20 employees are very happy with their incentives. 13 people are also moderately happy with their incentives. 12 are also neutral, with their incentives, and other 7 employees are not satisfied about their incentives. So this findings was made through the sample size that I used of 52 people. As you can see, the third chart, there is 7 people, 12, 13, also 20 people. So based on the findings about the investigation of the relationship between motivation and employees' productivity in Rwanda businesses, especially at Mobisol company, I found out that all 52 employees accepted that there is a relationship between their motivation and their own productivity as well. So the information gathered was qualitative in nature. The data was coded and cleaned before being processed after it's collected. Let me talk about the problem identified and practical solutions. And you can see based on the funding through the data found, I've seen that the company provides a great incentives on its employee, but this depends with everyone's performance. This means not everyone is getting some extra motivation in terms of money, gifts, reward, or other stuff in terms of encouraging employees' productivity in the companies. So after getting out this data, I've realized that this is very motivated to some employees, and again, it also something crucial to those who don't get those extra motivations. So this can be good if everyone gets the extra motivation, because the company will consider all employees at the same level. But again, this system encourages someone's creativity and productivity in the organization as well. For me, I can encourage the company to keep providing some incentives on its employees, because the more employees get it out, the more the productivity becomes competitive in the organization, and this brings some great image in terms of competition's market. So let me talk about the solutions to the problems. Based on the findings through this research, I've seen that the key problems about employees' productivity is through the way the organization or company manage their employees in terms of salaries, extra gift, reward, and also as a staff related to incentives. So as we all know that incentives are a terrific method to keep your employees motivated to accomplish their jobs to their full potential, they have something to work toward when you give them something they can get if they hit a certain target or accomplish something. Through this problem, I can suggest the company to have this system of giving out incentives to their all employees. This is because all employees will be motivated by incentives program to push and challenge themselves to reach higher level of productivity. So the financial incentives, in addition to encouraging undesirable behavior, have the side effect of increasing wage inequality, which can lead to increased turnover and poor performance. So this company of Mobisol should use this definition of incentive pay. Compensation is based on the quality of the work rather than the amount of the time spent on it. So the contribution of the skills acquired to the research process. In this research, I've learned so many skills which were really relevant on my behalf. And also I've learned some decision-making skills in training and development field. This decision-making skills are really required since they aid in the selection or creation of relevant training program. And also I've also learned some skills of problem solving. This was really effective to me while conducting this research. I've also learned some accounting skills. I've also learned some kind of communication skills. So let me talk about research conclusion and recommendation. By the conclusion, the research is all about the effect of non-financial incentive on employees and businesses, company productivity, and how the incentives have a huge impact on or importance on employees' performance on companies and the businesses. The overall objective of this study or research is to know the real impact or the importance of incentives on employees' productivity on companies, and finding out how the incentives affect employees' productivity positively or negatively in most businesses. So from the findings outcomes, incentives are a terrific method to keep your employees motivated to accomplish their jobs to their full potential. Finally, the findings of this study reveal that pay incentives has a substantial relationship with employees' productivity. A 95% confidence interval was used to set the result. About the recommendation, researchers and academics can use the findings of this study to test their hypothesis or improve future research. So particular in terms of determining the cost efficiency of various incentives and the award employed by businesses to boost staff productivity. So finally, small businesses owners use incentive plan to encourage, recognize and reward great performance in their personal. So incentive plan usually go beyond the regular wage and benefit agreement and can be in the form of cash bonuses, additionally paid vacation day, or no monetary gift. So as we all know that maintaining moral is critical for all organizations, regardless of industry, in order to ensure that your employees are motivated to work hard for your firm. I recommend this company of Mobisol businesses to implement incentive program to all employees in order to aid in their success. So thank you so much for listening this record. I think it was really great and I wish you all the best.